I'm Cassidy.
And I'm Kennedy.
And this is Threads of Wealth. If you already drink water every day, what if you could make that water work a little bit harder for your health? We talk a lot about H2 tab hydrogen tablets on this podcast a lot, but it's because we truly believe in it. It's a very simple thing that you can add into your everyday life. The tablets just dissolve in water and it immediately infuses with molecular hydrogen. It's been studied for its potential antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits, and it's just a super simple way to elevate your wellness. If you want to try it, use our code Threads of Wealth as a discount for 10% off. That's Threads of Wealth, WELLTH for 10% off, and we will put the link in the show notes. Today, we're diving into a topic that plays a huge role in overall health, but is often misunderstood, and that's chiropractic care. Joining us today is Bethany from Northern Peak Chiropractic. Her and her husband run a family practice who see people from all ages, from kids and newborns to adults who want to improve their health and feel their best. In this conversation, we're going to be talking about why chiropractic care is important, how spinal health affects the whole body, and why so many families are looking to chiropractic care as a more holistic approach to wellness. We're also going to hear about Bethany's personal story, how she got into chiropractic care, and the mission behind Northern Peak Chiropractic. Whether you're someone who has been incorporating chiropractic care into your health routine for a long time or you're brand new to it, there is something for everyone in this conversation. All right, Bethany, I'm super excited you're here today and talking about chiropractic care. I just think it's something that's very misunderstood. But I'd really like to start from the beginning and your story. So how did you get into chiropractic care?
You know, I'd love to say I have this magical experience with chiropractic care, but it was, something simple. I got a couple injuries in high school that, I had a groin that was pulled, a back injury, tubing with some guy friends of mine that I probably shouldn't have been doing, and I was struggling with the sports I was doing. I was a big athlete. So that kind of introduced me to it. And then my oldest brother decided to go back to school and become a chiropractor. And if anyone knows me, I'm very, very chatty. I don't always shut up. And same with him. So he was like, hey, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And I wanted to be a dentist, just like my dad. My dad's not chatty. We get it from my mom. So he was like, you should look at being a chiropractor. And I was like, well, okay. So I went and toured his school. He was still there. Loved it. Loved every aspect of it. I got to talk to people all day, help people with their injuries or anything. And then that's when I learned about the holistic side of life in general. We were a medical family, not very holistic at all. And when I was in chiropractic school, I saw this other side of it that wasn't just sports injuries that maybe brought me there. And I was like, wow, I can really help people make a huge difference in their life and a huge difference in their kids' lives as well.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to dig into more in a little bit, because I think I didn't realize that, even in school, that you're taught a more holistic approach. I guess my understanding was that just kind of like later on after you get through school that you kind of incorporate those practices. So that's very interesting that you learn that, like the holistic approach in school.
Yes. And I would say almost more my internship.
Okay.
The chiropractor I was under was very, top down, inside out. Our nervous system controls everything, which I know we'll get into more. But that was just so amazing that we have control over our bodies. We can go further in than just, this is what we're dealing with. We can slap a Band-Aid on it, move on. And it's like, let's get to true healing and give people hope to have this healthy lifestyle that they deserve and desire.
Exactly. Yeah. Did you always envision owning your own practice?
I did. With my dad being a dentist, he had his own practice. So I always, was going to become a dentist, take over his practice, own my own thing. And then in chiropractic school, my brother owned his right away, and he's 10 years older than me. So he paved a lot of ways for me. So I was like, hey, Jonathan can do it, I can do it.
Yep.
So I always thought I would own my own practice. Never thought I'd own a practice with my husband though.
Yeah, which I do want to talk about more later, because that is a very interesting dynamic that I'm sure, I mean, you don't see that a lot, and it's really cool and unique that you and your husband can do that, but I'm sure it doesn't come without challenges, and you guys have learned a lot through the process.
Yeah, luckily we started chiropractic school, not dating, so we met in chiropractic school. We're in class together 24/7. And so it was an easier transition for us to start working together, because we've never really known our relationship apart from that.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But it is, a lot of people come in and are like, you work with your husband? I'm like, yeah, he's over there, I'm over here.
Yeah, we kind of like are separate ways still in the office. I'm sure you're not always together, obviously.
Exactly. And Devin is very chill.
Yeah, which is a major plus.
Yes.
Why the name Northern Peak?
I think we were trying to incorporate both of our childhoods together. Devin, he's from Canada, so up north. So that's where the northern part came in, and then I'm from the Black Hills, so the peak part.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I love that. I guess I knew that about both of you, but I never thought about that being incorporating into the name. That's cool. So let's talk about what you touched on just a little bit ago about it's not just a sports medicine, or, you don't go in just to get adjusted for your back if you're sore or something, like, it's much deeper than that. And it ties back to your spinal health and your nervous system. So how does your nervous system and your spine correlate? When you're getting your spine adjusted, how does that reflect into your nervous system?
Yeah. So in our spinal column is housing our spinal cord. If you think about all your organs in your body, nothing is completely housed in solid bone except for your brain and your spinal cord. So if you want to say importance, that is pretty important to your body, right? So when our spine becomes misaligned, not moving appropriately, the nervous system can't function properly. So when our brain communicates to our hands, telling them to move, telling your stomach to digest your food, if there's bones that are stuck or not functioning properly, not having that right mobility through there, that signal gets interfered. And when it gets interfered, it doesn't function properly. So then our stomach doesn't digest our food as well. Our hands don't do what we want when we want. When people talk about having numbness in their hands, tingling down their arms, your brain has to tell your body what to do. And on the flip side of that, when you touch something hot, your hand sends a signal up to your brain saying, pick your hand up. Okay. So then even if on the other side of that, if you're touching something hot and your brain isn't communicating, saying, hey, move that hand, it's not going to function properly. And so that's also the other side of that too, is the output is very important, but also the input of what's being put into our body and telling our nervous system what to do has to function properly as well.
Wow. So what you're saying is like so many, if not maybe every part of our like the way our body functions is coming from your spine.
Yes. Every cell, tissue, organ is controlled by your nervous system.
Wow. So what kind of symptoms stem from your nervous system, like that people might not even realize are symptoms?
Yeah. I mean, obviously big aches and pains is what probably is a chiropractor's bread and butter. But when we talk about like stomach issues, a huge thing that we deal with is constipation, especially with kiddos, helping them just get their body to regulate perfectly and then get that detox pathway going as well. Another thing is sleep and anxiety. Number one thing I would say people improve on in our office outside of those aches and pains is I'm sleeping better. I'm more well rested. And with that, there's a lot of opportunity. You're going to work out more. You're going to eat healthier. You're going to enjoy life more if you're well rested. Yeah. They're just a few off the top of my head, but the coolest story we probably have had lately is we had a young kid. He's maybe 8 years old. He came in, couldn't sit still at school. You know, teachers are trying to help the parents are trying to help him. They just didn't really know what to do or where to turn to. And so they, like most people, find chiropractic care just out of the blue. They're like, nothing else is working. I'm going to walk into the store. Well, we took a little break over Christmas time. We went on a holiday. So he didn't get adjusted very much during that time. And when he went back to school, the teachers noticed, the parents noticed. They were like, we need to get him in and get adjusted. Because it just calmed his nervous system down. And he was able to, you know, those meds that they're talking about putting him on, he didn't have to do it. Like, it's just amazing what our body can do when you allow it to heal properly and function properly. Yeah,
that's an amazing story. I'm sure you see those a lot, even on like a smaller scale, but those success stories of people just noticing, probably didn't even realize that it would have that much an effect on their health. So we take I take my family too, guys. But we don't necessarily, I kind of started coming as, not because we had symptoms, but just as like an overall health tool in our tool belt. Why is it important for families, kids, adults to incorporate that into their overall health routine, even if they aren't in pain or they don't have any symptoms?
Well, pain is always the last thing to show up. So when we are in pain, normally there is a million signs before that showing, hey, this is a warning sign. This is a warning sign. The last one's always pain. I think the new wave, the new generation knows that health isn't just about pain and feeling good. It's about something so much deeper than that too. To continue to stay healthy, you should get adjusted to prevent anything from coming up, you know, those little aches and pains. But your nervous system, like we talked about, controls everything. And I think we're also learning so much more about it with the new research coming out that it's going to help you live longer and live healthier longer as well. And I read a really cool article about how, you know, you go to the dentist twice a year to get your teeth cleaned. Like, why not do that to your spine? Like, keep your spine healthy, keep your nervous system healthy, so then you don't have to do the back end maintenance of coming in a bunch because we have to gain everything, and just keep your kids healthy from the start. Yeah, that's what I love about what you guys do, is that you're informing your patients like why it's important. All of my experiences really in the past with different chiropractors has been like, you're just in and you're out. Like, you go in and you get your, like, mostly I've gone in the past for pain, not for overall wellness. And I'm kind of like, I've felt like it's just in and out, and I've never understood like the overall wellness until I started going to you guys, because you guys inform on like the nervous system and how that, you know, affects your whole body. So do you think that overall, should everybody really be going to see a chiropractor on a regular basis? Not even from like a business standpoint, but just in general, like, is it something that everybody should be doing? I think obviously bias. Yes, of course. I know, well, I was on maternity leave. I maybe fell off my chiropractic regimen. I wasn't going to the office as much. And I started to notice things, you know, I'm not sleeping as well at night. I'm a more agitated mom. I'm not being the best wife I can be either. You know, I think we go to the dentist, we work out, we go to our therapist, you know, all these things. So we continue to be the best we can be. So I think, you know, if this just is one other thing in your tool belt, like you guys said, that I think it's really important for us to maintain a healthy spine and a healthy nervous system. And the more we learn about how our body functions, you know, with everything going on in this crazy world, we need a calm nervous system to be a healthy person. For sure. Let's talk about kids for a minute. Like, I will say, to start that off, I've noticed, and you talked about sleep already, but
My kids are like the best sleepers ever. And it was never the case when I had Addie. When we had Addie, she was just not a good sleeper for like the first year of her life. And now like Branch and Lenny have been good sleepers while they've been toddlers. So I attribute a lot of that to them going to you guys on a regular basis. But why is chiropractic care important for kids? I don't think a lot of people think about that.
Yeah. I think the big thing is think about all the trauma in their little lives. Like I was listening to a podcast about how the first place a kid gets trauma is through the birthing canal. Whether it's a easy, smooth delivery or a traumatic one, it's traumatic no matter what for the mom and baby. I think we go back to even like the prenatal side of things. Our emotions are going to affect that baby in our belly, our toxins that we eat and drink, that's all going to affect that baby. So even before they're on the outside world, they are getting affected by our day-to-day stressors. So when they first come out, we have the prenatal aspect of it. And then we also have the birthing process of it. There's a lot of pressure on their spine coming out. And I talked about constipation with kids. We see babies all the time for constipation. So getting that nervous system checked right away. The very top of our neck is the C1. That is misaligned, very common in infants. So getting that checked, making sure they're on the start to being healthy children instead of becoming sick adults. And I think the interventions in the world now are so life-saving, but they also come with consequences as well. So we're talking about the vacuums, the forceps, all of that. Like it got the baby out safe, but it was yanking on their neck and on their nervous system. So that's kind of probably where we should start with, hey, babies. But then a lot of people don't know to take their babies there.
Right. I think that's...
Or it's scary.
Yeah. Well, and maybe explain like how you adjust a baby compared to... Because what we think are how you adjust an adult. It's not how you do it.
Cracking their neck.
Yeah.
It's very gentle. I always tell people it's like checking the ripeness of an avocado. They're laying in a little pillow for us. Half of them are sleeping, and you just kind of feel up and down their spine, seeing where their nervous system feels sticky. And that probably is like, okay, how voodoo is this? Like, how can she tell if the nervous system feels sticky? I touch a lot of spines in a day, a lot of spines in a week. You learn that skill, just like how does a dentist know that you have a cavity in there because it feels sticky. So we're able to feel through that spine, see where the babies need work on in their nervous system and get their nervous system reset, ready to function properly. No cranking, no twisting. We might do some big stretches through there because they're all curled up in mommy's belly and now they're out in this big world and it's scary. You see kids startle all the time with that reflex. But they're ready to be out and like we just have to help them integrate into the world.
Yeah, absolutely. What about immunity? Does it help kids with their immunity?
Yes. And I think chiropractic's a big aspect of that, but I think the moms who are bringing their kids in to the chiropractor are starting to understand that like being sick isn't always bad as well. We want to help the kids get sick less and deal with the sicknesses when they do get them, but knowing that like that's a part of growing and developing our nervous system, our oral gut health, all of that stuff. Like being sick isn't bad, but how do we support them through it? And how do we make sure that the sickness isn't kicking them in the butt for 2 months where it's like, hey, I just have a couple of days. But in our nervous system is telling us to be healthy. They want us to be healthy. I always relate it to pain. Our system can only handle so much input at one time. So as an adult, if you have hip pain and your body's just getting the signals that, hey, I'm in pain, and then you get hit with a flu bug, well, they can't fight off that flu because they're just handling that pain. So then they get that flu in there, that virus takes over, makes them sick and makes them sick long term. But if they are removed that pain, their nervous system is functioning properly, then they're able to deal with that virus, get on top of it, do what the body needs to do, feel those signals, read those signals, and respond appropriately.
Interesting. I don't know if this is like on topic or off topic, or if you deal with this, but like for a fever, for instance, like, we're taught so often in like standard medical practice that when your kid has a fever, like get it down as quick as you can. And we panic and we're going to the hospital if it's over 100. And something I've learned in the past year is like that a fever is a good thing because it's your body fighting off the disease, the sickness. Is there something that like you tell patients about fevers, or something that you do to help with fevers in kids?
Yeah, I actually encourage people to bring their kids in and get adjusted when they are sick and when they have fevers. We're resetting the nervous system, making sure that the body can respond appropriately to those fevers. I personally, with my kids, we let them ride, to a safe point, obviously, but like you said, the viruses are getting killed off by those fevers. Yeah. So we want them to do their job.
Yeah.
And I have a 2.5-year-old that runs around like crazy, whether he's sick or not. So it's like, I don't want to give him anything that makes him want to run around crazy more than he already does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sure you feel that with Branch too.
Exactly. Totally. I feel that with him too. And it's been amazing to see like when, in the past when they've had fevers and I've given them medicine and try to get it calm down compared to now when I'm just like, let it ride out and let their bodies work through it. They actually heal so much faster. Like when you just let them have a fever and just let them heal themselves, we cut down our sick days like in half, if not more. And
I think they get over it and through it instead of just like lingering in that, hey, we're kind of sick. So the next bug comes because, bugs are out there. Next bug comes and kicks them in the butt again. And we just continue this cycle. So I think the fevers are good. Yeah. They kill stuff. I think about how I wash my bottles for Scotty,
hot water.
Yeah, hot water. Exactly. Like,
don't suppress the heat like we want it. Yeah. What are some common issues just in general, not necessarily just in kids, but what are some issues that you see people come in with?
Headaches, low back pain. There's been some really, really cool ones with the vagus nerve. It is the cranial nerve that goes right here in front of your neck. If you're on video, it's right like by your ears on the front side of your neck, and it goes to your heart, your lungs, your digestive organs through there. So that controls so much. But with our cervical spine, our C1 specifically is right there. So if that is not moving properly and it starts to kind of poke on that vagus nerve, it can affect so much.
Really?
So
wow.
As more people are learning about health and wellness, they are coming to us saying, how can you help our vagus nerve?
Dang, that's interesting. I would have never thought that.
Yeah. And just so cool that like other people are bringing it to us and we're like, well, let me tell you how we can help.
I'm glad you asked.
Yes.
That's amazing. What are some everyday habits that you think are harming people's spinal health?
Oh, well, we are sitting way too much.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how to fix that problem, but we're sitting all the time. We're at computers all the time, looking down at our phones, even reading books. We're just so sedate these days compared to our grandparents, our great grandparents, who are working out at the farm or walking uphill both ways to school, like my parents always say. But the sedateness is not helping us at all, so our body is stuck. We're not getting the motion we need. We're not having healthy joints through there because of that. Our bodies are overweight because we're not getting that good exercise every day. I mean, it just piles on.
Yeah. Which then in turn affects the nervous system, which is already being affected by outside sources, stress, things like that we're exposed to in the world. Besides adjustments, like what are some habits that you tell people, besides coming in and getting adjusted regularly, how can they support their nervous systems and their spinal health?
Yeah, I think motion. I mean, well, there's the 3 T's in chiropractic: toxins, thoughts, and traumas. So, traumas, easy to tell. You get in a car accident, you slip and fall on the ice. That we need to hinder, prevent. Thoughts, like, what are we thinking about day to day? How are our emotions dealing with, like, if we have negative thoughts all the time, well, our body's going to be negative. It's the energy of our world. Like, if we're negative out there, we're only going to get negative energy back. So I think having like good positive thoughts, if you want to go to a therapist, thinking about stuff like that, like, great. Like, let's have your girls' coffee that you need once a month or whatever to help release some of those thoughts, those emotions, good emotional well-being. And then the toxins in our environment of, what are our cleaning products? What are we putting in our body? I mean, there's so many things that are very simple that we can do to help that I think would really help people's nervous systems, like getting out in the sun. I mean, there's little things that are, free that are just going to be helping us be better humans, have a better life.
That's what I love about this is it really is holistic. It's not just, you're not just limiting it just to chiropractic care. It's really like, I mean, there are many different ways that we need to be looking at in our world and in our lifestyle. Yeah.
And I think all of us, like, at the office, are we perfect by any means? No one's going to be, but like, we all like really want to practice what we preach, like, we make the gym work. Some days are good, some days aren't good. We try and get outside as much as possible, wake up with the sun, get some good rays on us, help that sunset, get your brain ready for bed, having less big lights in your house. I mean, all those things I think are so important and can really change your life too.
Yeah. And we talk about that a lot on this podcast because really, where this podcast was born was being in a world that it's really difficult. We're surrounded by so many stressors and so many different things that, 50 years ago, our grandparents just were not exposed to. But so we live in a modern world, but like, how can we make it practical? Because a lot of our audience are moms. And even if you're not a mom, you have life is just busy in general. And so wellness shouldn't be overwhelming. It should be practical and simple, and just understanding, because we also, in the world of social media, like, there's so many things that if you go on social media, you're like, I can't do all this stuff. Like,
or I'm dying. It's kind of like Dr. Google these days.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, you go on and you Google your symptom and you're like, okay, I need to check myself in the emergency room immediately. So let's talk about you and your husband. What's it been like starting a practice together? I mean, you got to know each other in school, so that is obviously helps a lot. You're not, you're used to that, but what's it been like from the ground up?
Yeah. At the start, lots and lots of hard work, lots of days where it was, Devin, you can do it. Beth, you can do it. Like, let's go and let's do it. We started our business by going door to door through town. So in Watertown, we went to all the businesses, introduced ourselves, saying, hey, we're opening a chiropractic business in March. Here's our business card, and we'd love to have you as patients one day. So we just did that.
That's amazing.
It was scary.
I love that. Yeah.
I don't know if I loved it, but it was great.
I'm sure not being on that side of it. You're like, I don't know, but I'm sure that how it takes a while, I feel like, when you start a business for people to realize who you are, but having that first introduction face to face like that goes a long ways.
Getting out there in the community. We did a lot of health talks. So the girls are actually starting those back up. So we just go into businesses, bring them lunch, talk about health and wellness and how chiropractic care can be a part of your regimen. And so when we opened, I think we had 100 patients on the books right away, new patients. Yeah, it was a crazy first month, but it's scary when you're opening up your own business. So that was really good. And then, after that, I always tell people, I love my job. I get to help people. I get to hold babies every day. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that?
It's a perfect job.
Yes, exactly. And I am very lucky that I get to do with my spouse too. I know when I was on maternity leave with Scotty, I felt distant from Devin almost, because I was like, I don't get to see him every day. Yeah, I don't get to have lunch with him. And so I think it's been one of the biggest blessings. I've been able to do it with my spouse and walk in health together as well. I hear often some moms come in with their kids and they're like, well, I have to get my husband on board, or he doesn't
coming into the chiropractor.
Yeah. Or he doesn't think the kids need it, or, you know, whatever it is. And it's like, I feel like whatever health part of our lives that we've had to go through, Devin's been right there supporting it, you know.
You guys are aligned. And
yes. Yeah. Which like I said, I feel very blessed to have a husband who is like that.
Yeah, that's a huge blessing. What strengths do each of you bring to the practice?
Oh man, I don't know. Devin's calm. He's cool.
He seems like it.
Collective. I'm probably a little bit more wild-brained, have different ideas, but I don't know. That's a good thing to ask. I think I'm more of the science mind behind a lot of stuff too. Yeah. But Devin, it's funny how patients go towards us. Devin sees a lot of athletes, which makes sense. He was a college hockey player.
Yeah.
And older individuals.
Okay.
They love Devin.
Yeah. You have like more of the moms and
then I see moms, babies, kiddos, women like our age, you know, where there was a lady that came in the other day that Devin talked to or whatever, and after she left, he's like, Beth, you're really gonna like her. Like she just like reminds me of you. Like you're just gonna like her. And I think I love talking about the health and wellness side outside of chiropractic care. Yeah. That's how I think you and I kind of got to know each other. Everything is like, yes, there's the chiropractic side, but like I love talking about how to make our lives better in that sense. Yeah. So I think I navigate a little bit more towards those type of individuals.
That's a great, though. I mean, to be able to cater to really, you know, different age groups and different seasons of life, and like have, you know, with Devin's background being in sports, and you're a mom, and when you can really relate to you know, your chiropractor, whoever it is that you're seeing, it goes a lot deeper, I feel like.
Yeah. And I think too, like before I became a mom, I was adjusting moms, I was adjusting babies, and now it's like, wow, I get it. Like, you know, before it was like, oh, your kid's not sleeping through the night, it's fine. It's like some days it's not fine. It's okay to not be fine about it. Yeah. But like, how can we help you in any manner, whether it's advice or a hug, or I think last week I think I hugged like 5 people because they're crying to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start crying, you know. But like, I just kind of joke in the office that like I get stuck in rooms with people a lot because I either talk too much or I'm sitting there crying with them, or I had a teenager letting me know how she doesn't want to do her sport anymore, and I was like, that's okay. Like, you know, it's just
amazing. That's so much deeper than just chiropractic care. That's like, so great.
I said, I just love my job.
Yeah.
I got the best one in the world.
What's one health habit, not just necessarily chiropractic care, but one health habit that you think everyone should incorporate?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, one is hard to pick out.
So many that are critical, I feel like, but
yes, I think being happy. I mean, that sounds so surface level or simple, I don't know, but it's like, if you're happy with your life, it is so much better. It's great, you know, and that happiness can come from a lot of things. But I think nowadays, like my sister and I were talking, we're like, was our mom happy? Was she mean? Like, I don't know. Like she was a stressed out mom. Yeah. And it's like, we've carried some of that into like our motherhood journeys of like, okay, how do we not be these stressed out moms? Yeah. And for sure. It's like, if you can be happy and find a way to like truly be happy, you know, and love your job, love your family, be so excited to wake up every day, I think that goes a lot further than anything.
Yeah. Gosh, I love that. That was a great answer.
I don't know. I
don't feel like I can top that or like, I feel like we need to end on that question. That was so good. Okay. So let's where can people find you? I do want you to talk about the Mom Society.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's really cool. And that kind of stems off what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like you chatting with people in the office. So explain what that is.
Yeah. So Dr. Sierra, she's the other chiropractor. And then our front desk girls, the CAs, they're Grace and Tiara. We have been talking about for a while, like we just need a place where moms can come and come with everything they have in their life. You know, an hour once a month is what we decided to do. So we started this Mom Society. It's a group on Facebook. So even if you're not necessarily local or can make them, we post everything about them. And we're just trying to get different topics each month. So last month was immunity. So we got together with the group of moms Wednesday and Thursday, the last week of the month, and just sat around and kind of chatted about like, okay, Cassidy, what do you do for immunity? What do you do for yourself? What do you do for your husband? What do you do for your kids? I mean, and just go in a circle and kind of chat about all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I think this month is kids activities. I think we put our son in activities because he's rambunctious and he needs...
He's an outlet.
Yes, exactly. But one mom said, I feel so stressed to get my kids in activities, but that's not what she wants for her family. And it's like, okay, like how do we navigate that? Or which ones do we find that fit well in their life? Or where do we go to find these activities?
That's so cool that for just to be a community that moms can come together and have that. It's hard to find when you're a new mom and even if you're not new to a community, it's just hard to keep that as a priority to get together with other moms. And you find so much benefit just talking with other moms.
Yeah. And having a community that you can go to and ask questions and like, yes, I have some knowledge about health and wellness, but I have many friends who know way more, or I have a friend who is a great like sleep trainer. And it's like, maybe that's what some mom needs, that it's okay to do that. And here's how you can do it successfully and just different ideas. And yeah, I think support. And I go to my sister a lot, or I kind of go to my mom, but it's like, my mom hasn't raised babies in a long time. 30 years.
Yeah, it's way different now.
Yeah, my sister has twin girls and they were fighting the other day, and so Jenna put them in timeout, or one of them in timeout, and my mom goes, I just can't believe you would do that. Like, they're sad. And my sister's like, what? Like, we for sure would have been in timeout.
For
like,
sure.
Yeah.
You're the grandma. You're supposed to think that now, but
I
I'm the
know.
mom.
And she was like, I'm so frustrated with mom. And I was like, well, I get that. Like,
it's funny. They do. Like, I feel like all grandmas, they just forget that time that they were mom, because they all but they have that sympathy for their grandkids.
Yes.
It's cute, but you're like, you remember being a mom.
Yeah. Cookies for breakfast. Like, when was this ever a good idea?
Yeah. Rules are just out the window when you become a grandma. Where can people find you? You have a website, Facebook page.
Yes.
Where can they find you?
Yeah. So Facebook, Northern Peak Chiropractic, the Mom Society's on Facebook, Instagram, Northern Peak Chiropractic, and then our website is, I think, www.northernpeakchiropractic.com.
Perfect. And we'll link all this in the show notes. So if you're local or in the area, you can go and find that. And even if you're not local, then, the Mom Society, like you said, is the Facebook group, and anybody can join that. Is that right?
Yep. Anyone can join that. And then like any of the topics we're giving ideas, or like what we talked about at the group, kind of like a quick tidbit on what we talked about. And then hopefully as we build the community, you'll be able to search like children's immunity, and then that post will pop up, and so you can go back and reference it too.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll link that in the show notes too, so people can join that if they're not local, and all the information will be in there. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom with us today. It's been amazing to dive in deeper, that I think most people don't realize just how deep chiropractic care goes. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation with Bethany. As always, if you enjoyed it, please give us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Threads of Wealth. We'll see you on the next episode.